After 14 years of footing their bills, trips, and healthcare, I received a text. Please skip Thanksgiving this year. We're keeping it family only, and that doesn't include you. I didn't push back. I simply replied, got it. Expect a letter. Then I tallied the $610,000 I'd sent them over the years. I halted every payment, sold their extra vehicle, and put the beach house in my name up for sale. After 14 years of being their invisible safety net, I got that text again. Stay away this Thanksgiving, we're keeping it family only and you're not included. No phone call, no reasoning. Just those words. I stared at the screen for a moment, rereading the message. The timestamp read 7:12 a.m. as if they wanted to beat me to any plans. As if I ever made plans of my own. As if they hadn't made it obvious I was their fallback, their emergency fund, the silent benefactor of everything they never worked for. I didn't argue or ask why. I just typed, understood, expect a letter. I wasn't chasing vengeance, just boundaries long overdue. Then I set the phone down, got out of bed, and opened my laptop. First, I pulled up the spreadsheet I'd started a decade ago to track my contributions. Medical expenses, rent assistance, last-minute vacation funds, car insurance gaps. Every dollar, meticulously recorded, half for habit, half for protection. Not once had they offered to help me. Not once had they said thank you beyond a casual, you're a lifesaver, at a dinner I'd bankrolled. $610,382. That was the sum. I never saw it as a loan, but being excluded forced me to rethink what I'd given so freely. I shut the laptop, leaned back, and let the quiet settle. Then I walked to the desk drawer and pulled out the spare car keys. The beach house deed was there too, tucked in the envelope from my attorney. It was always in my name. They just acted like it wasn't. The car? Sold by midday. The house? Listed by nightfall. By the time they noticed, I'd already severed the ties. It wasn't about punishment, just reclaiming my peace. No more rent for Mom, no more tuition for Ethan's private school, no more quick transfers to get us through because Claire had another urgent dental bill she kept from her spouse. And the thing is, I didn't feel angry. I felt something else. Free. It wasn't rage, but the calm relief of no longer needing to earn their approval. Because this wasn't about money. Not truly. It was about that text. That single line that revealed what they'd always thought but never said outright. I wasn't family. Not really. Not when it came time to celebrate. Not when it was about joy. Only when the bills piled up, the rent was late, or someone needed a cosigner did I matter. But this Thanksgiving? No one was an outsider, a burden, a wallet with legs, so I gave them what they asked for. Distance, and something they didn't expect, an invoice. Let me backtrack. 14 years. That's how long I played this part. It began when my dad lost his job temporarily. I was 23, fresh into a tech job, new benefits, first real salary, optimism blooming like something fragile and naive in my heart. Mom called, sobbing. Rent was late. Could I help just for a month? I sent $1,800 that night. No thank you text followed. That set the pattern. Ethan needed braces. I paid. Claire's car died en route to a festival. I settled the repair bill over the phone. When Dad's surgery hit insurance snags, I untangled them. No one else stepped up. No one even pretended to try. At first, I told myself it was okay. I had more than they did. I could afford it. But it never stopped. Even after Dad got a new job, even after Claire's PR promotion, even when Ethan's crypto startup crashed spectacularly, they just shifted the burden. I became their safety net, their silent financier, their plan B. They called me dependable, steady. You keep us afloat. Translation, you always pay. And I allowed it. I allowed it because I wanted to belong. But belonging had a price. I had to shrug off slights. Like when Ethan said at a family dinner, you must love being single, no responsibilities but your money? Or when Mom quipped, good thing you're childless, or you'd be broke. At Claire's wedding, they seated me with the caterers. I'd paid for the open bar, my name wasn't in the program, and still, I showed up. Kept showing up. Until last Thanksgiving. That's when it fractured. They planned a Hawaii trip. Mom, Dad, Claire, Ethan, even Claire's new boyfriend and her dog. I found out via an Instagram story captioned family vibes on a beach I'd helped Dad refinance 3 years prior. I scrolled through photos, lees, drinks, matching flip-flops. I stayed silent. I sent Claire $400 2 days later when she said her card was declined. No sorry. Just, can you cover me? But this year, that text shattered something permanently. We're keeping it family only and you're not included. I realized this wasn't about a trip, a meal, or a misunderstanding. It was a verdict. I was never one of them, just nearby, useful, a benefactor they could exclude. So I drafted the letter. 3 lines. Effective immediately, all financial support from me is terminated. All shared assets will be reclaimed or sold. Contact legal counsel for details. This wasn't an attack. It was clarity. Then I attached the proof. Page 1. The ledger, every transfer, every loan, every last-minute bailout they'd asked me to keep quiet, marked with dates, bank codes, and evidence. Page 2. Notarized papers confirming the beach house title update. I'd finalized it 6 months ago. They never checked. Page 3. Car sale receipt. The SUV Ethan drove, sold, listed, bought. By me. I CC'd the family attorney they'd used for years, the one who once told me at a holiday party, "You're why this family functions." I sent the email at 3:34 p.m. on a Thursday, right before the weekend, right before they'd start Thanksgiving prep I was excluded from. I waited. For 17 hours, nothing. Then my phone erupted. "Claire, is this a prank?" "Mom, call me now. What's this?" "Dad, we need to talk. This isn't you." "Ethan, you sold my car?" I didn't answer. I turned off my phone, went to the gym, ate dinner alone. The panic hit them Saturday. Apparently, the beach house was set for Thanksgiving. Caterers booked. Claire's friends flying in. I hadn't known. It could have been my Airbnb backup. No, it was locked. Access denied. New codes. The texts shifted. "Mom, you're hurting us all." "Claire, you need help." "Dad, this family has always been there for you." "Ethan, I'm stranded in Arizona without a car. Fix this." I didn't reply. They tried my ex. She called me, chuckling. They asked me to mediate like I'm still their counselor. Then came the kicker. A long email from Mom titled, "We didn't mean it." She wrote, "It's been a tough year. We thought you wanted space. We didn't know you felt left out. Then, you've always been so generous, so steady." And finally, "If you could just cover Mom's rent for December, we'll fix everything post-holidays." That's when I knew. They still didn't understand. This wasn't a tantrum. It was a clean break. The real fallout came the night before Thanksgiving. I was home, alone, roasting a small chicken instead of a turkey because it felt more authentic. No TV parade, no music, just stillness, the kind I used to think was peace, before I realized it was just the absence of being exploited. Then my phone pinged. "Claire." No apology, no acknowledgement, just a shared folder, no subject, just logistics. Curious, I opened it. Inside was a polished Thanksgiving itinerary. A formal affair, apparently. Custom menus, seating plans, vendor lists for catering, flowers, even valet. A note about photo-ready outfits. Neutrals, nothing bold. Then I saw the spreadsheet, Q1 to Q2 family budget. My breath stopped. The first column listed everyone by initials. C, Claire. E, Ethan. M, Mom. D, Dad. D, me. Next column, contributions. Under my name, $48,000 expected by April, already divided. Rent support. Mom, $2,000 x4. Car repairs. Dad, $1,200. School fees. Ethan's kid, $5,000. Emergency fund. Claire, $7,800. Beach house maintenance, $3,000. Q2 cushion, $8,000. Discretionary buffer, $20,000. Every cell oozed certainty. Like my money was already theirs. Like they were allocating me. The final tab hit like a slap, titled, "Plan if D resists." 2 bullets. Remind him how much we've supported him emotionally. If needed, use Mom for guilt. He'll cave quick. That's when the anger faded. Not into sadness, not into fury, into focus. They weren't confused. They weren't misjudging. This wasn't family stumbling over boundaries. It was deliberate. I was a line item with strings attached. They didn't see me, just what I provided. And this year, I'd stopped being controllable. That night, I didn't rant or vent. I printed the file, all 28 pages. Then I opened a folder I hadn't touched in years. My records, tax filings, bank transfers, Venmo logs, mortgage co-signatures. Claire's failed startup I'd quietly funded with $24,000. Ethan's $9,000 medical bill I covered, which turned out to be LASIK and a Vegas trip. Every favor I'd bankrolled while they called it support. I organized it all, line by line, category by category. With one note at the top, what family took unreturned. It totaled $610,382.27, and that was conservative. By midnight, I'd drafted the document. Not a threat, an invoice, itemized by year, recipient, purpose. 3 signatures, mine, my accountant's, my attorney's. Then one message, "This is the total of my contributions." Not 1 cent was repaid. Going forward, I'm unavailable for contributions, support, or emotional manipulation. Future contact requires formal mediation. Sent it. CC'd every family member. BCC'd their accountant, who once said, "Without you, they'd be bankrupt." Then I turned off my phone and slept better than I had in years. Not because I'd won, but because I'd stopped losing to myself. Thanksgiving morning, I woke to quiet. Until 9:47 a.m. That's when the chaos began. Mom, you're ruining the holiday. Call me. Dad, you sent this to our CPA? Claire, this is crazy. We're family. Ethan, you sold the SUV? Seriously? Then the panic. They had guests coming to the beach house, unaware I'd changed the locks and codes 2 days prior. Claire sent a photo of the lock. Why can't we get in? Then, undo this. We have kids here. Then, we called the police. This is illegal. I didn't respond. They'd spent years acting like my money was theirs. Now they were stunned I remembered it was mine. At 1:23 p.m., Ethan sent a voice note. D, I'm stuck. The car app locked me out in Arizona. It's towed. You sold it? You're destroying lives over a dinner. I listened once, archived it. That evening, I ate a simple meal and watched a movie. My phone buzzed non-stop. Unknown numbers, blocked contacts, even distant relatives trying to mediate. I ignored them, because I saw it now. They never invited me to the table. They invited my resources, my credit, my silence. But this year, I chose myself, and I was finally a party of one. The fallout didn't start with a call or an email. It started with a video. The day after my letter, Claire posted a reel. She stood on my beach house balcony, wined in her hair, holding a wine glass like a coastal queen. Soft music played. Kids ran on the sand in slow motion. Ethan waved from the grill, wearing a Family Forever shirt. Caption, grateful. Together, unfazed. I stared, letting the audacity sink in. The nerve to flaunt a middle finger on social media while using a property I owned, paid for, and had now secured. What she didn't know was the video was 3 days old, because that morning, a locksmith arrived, so did the property manager. By 10 a.m., the smart locks were updated, utilities cut, security cams linked to my phone. By 11:32 a.m., I'd filed a notice. All unauthorized occupants would be trespassers by sundown. I waited. By 4:17 p.m., Ethan called. I didn't pick up. By 4:22 p.m., Claire texted, "Is this a joke? The code's dead. Power's off. Guests are coming." I replied once, "Enjoy your gratitude," from the parking lot. I knew how it looked, but this wasn't vengeance. It was dignity restored. Then I muted the thread. That night, the group chat I hadn't checked in months exploded. New name. Time to fix this. First came guilt. Mom's heartbroken. This isn't you. Then fear. We're stranded. The car's gone. Ethan's stuck. Don't you care? I didn't reply. Instead, I sent a second wave. That evening, I contacted the family accountant, the one who called me the backbone. I had him issue notices to withdraw from the backup trust, emergency fund, and joint tax shield I'd set up to cover their messy filings for 6 years. By morning, their accounts were under review. Claire's card was declined. Ethan's tuition grant was canceled. Mom and Dad's property tax payment failed. The dominoes fell fast. At 9:03 a.m., Ethan showed up at my door, frazzled, sweating, shaken, like a man realizing the floor was fake, and I'd yanked it. He didn't knock, he banged. When I opened the door, he didn't greet me. He just stared like I was the bad guy in a story he didn't know he was in. "You stranded us," he said. I leaned on the door frame, calm, steady. "You stranded yourself. I just stopped carrying the load. I wasn't abandoning family. I was stepping back from a role that broke me." He shook his head. "You don't get it. I've got a kid coming. Claire's got debts. Mom's a mess. And now Dad's..." I cut him off. "Disappointed?" Ethan's mouth opened, but he had nothing. Then he played the card I expected. "We're still your family." "No," I said. "You saw me as a bank, a fallback, a resource to tap." He stepped closer. "We didn't ask for all that. You always gave. You never gave me the choice not to." He had no response. Just stood there, flushed, defeated. Like a man in a collapsed house, still searching for the exit. Then he tried one last angle. "Mom says you've changed." I smiled. She's right. I shut the door. An hour later, Mom called. Left a voicemail so long it cut off. She sobbed, pleaded, blamed, all at once. She said the beach house was a family gift I'd promised to share. She said this holiday was meant for healing. She ended with, "You've always been the strong one, the dependable one. We need you back." I sat with that for a moment. Part of me mourned that it came to this, but another part refused to lie to myself anymore. Then I sent her a photo, a screenshot of their Q1 to Q2 budget spreadsheet listing me as D, a funding source, a number. Below it, I wrote, "This is who you needed, not me. That version's gone. Happy Thanksgiving." By evening, my phone was a cemetery of missed calls. I turned it off, ate dinner, played music, sat for the first time in over a decade in a life that was mine. Not borrowed, not demanded, not guilted into submission, not traded for scraps of conditional love. The aftermath didn't scare me. It liberated me. Because when you stop being their lifeline, they learn what it means to drown. They say silence is calm. That's a lie. True silence, after the storm, after the cut, is a void. It hums. It tugs at you, like it's begging you to fill it with apologies you don't owe or explanations they don't deserve. But I didn't. I let it hum. By December, the family went quiet. Not healed quiet. Hushed. No more voicemails. No more late-night texts acting like nothing happened. Just absence. And you'd think that stung. You'd think I'd wake up second-guessing. I didn't. Because for the first time, I saw the space they'd occupied and how much I'd contorted to fit their mold. They held Thanksgiving without me. At Claire's tiny apartment from a tagged photo someone forgot to hide. Paper plates, folding chairs, a grocery store cake with thankful misspelled. Claire grinned like a campaigner. Ethan looked sleepless. Mom wasn't in the photos. Dad posted a vague meme days later. Sometimes you trim the tree to see who falls. 3 likes. 1 comment from a cousin. You okay, Uncle Rick? I didn't reply. Instead, I finalized the last step. The beach house lease was signed. Trust accounts closed. The emergency fund I'd built, funded, and hidden under their names for years, dissolved and returned. To me, legally, quietly, finally, I donated a chunk to a cause I cared about. The rest, untouched. Not because I needed it, because I earned it. In January, a letter came, handwritten, from Mom. The envelope was heavy, like she thought thickness equaled sincerity. Inside, 4 pages of regret, memories, and justifications. She wrote about their struggles, how she missed me, how families fracture without forgiveness. Then the pivot. She asked for help. Not money, understanding, which is what they always wanted. For me to understand why they took and why I shouldn't hold it against them. I folded the letter, lit a match, watched it burn in the sink. Then I picked up a pen. 1 sentence. I can forgive, but I won't be used again. I sealed it, mailed it. No return address. That was 3 months ago. I haven't heard from them since. No birthdays, no group chats, no cousins trying to broker peace. They're gone. And in their place, silence. But this time, it's truly peaceful. The kind you don't fill, the kind you guard. And when people ask what happened with my family, I tell the truth. I stopped being their bank. They stopped being my kin. Maybe one day we'll talk again, but it'll be on terms where respect outweighs expectation. And this time I kept the proof. I kept the